Have any of us made a mask joke? Well, it's no laughing matter, okay, people? You gotta wear your mask. You gotta wear your mask! What if we do another fan cast? What is up, YouTube? Trey here, back again with another fan cast. Still spooky season, still Halloween time, still the month of October, bringing you another fan cast. So, I love Scooby-Doo. Most of us do. I love the live-action Scooby-Doo that they made back in the early 2000s with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar and all them. And I've loved most of the iterations, not all of them. But my absolute favorite Scooby-Doo movie of all time was Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. And so I thought, let's do a fan cast. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the list of the major characters in the film and telling you who I have fan cast for their live-action counterpart if they were to remake the movie today. Also, one rule I'm adding to this, I'm not going to be choosing anybody that have previously played any of these characters in a version of a Scooby-Doo movie before. So no Freddie Prinze Jr., no Zac Efron, nothing like that, with the exception of one character, but I'll get to that in a minute. First up, we have the Scooby Gang, of course. My man, Freddie Jones. I decided to go with Armie Hammer. I think Armie Hammer has the stoic and chiseled features that live-action Fred needs to have. I know in the Mystery Incorporated cartoon, Fred was obsessed with traps. That was his passion. I would love to see that transition in a live-action version, and I think Armie could do that. I think that he would do a great job being Fred Jones, and I think he would make a fantastic on-screen couple with my choice for Daphne. And for Daphne Blake, I decided to go with Catherine McNamara, who you might have seen in the Shadowhunters TV show, as well as several other roles that she's had. She was also Oliver Queen's daughter in the last season of Arrow. I think that she looks like Daphne Blake. I think that she has the looks that would accompany the unassuming karate master that Daphne has become over the several different iterations of Daphne in the Scooby-Doo cartoons and live action counterparts. I think that she would be a fantastic choice. For Velma Dinkley, I decided to go with Allison Pill. Allison Pill, who again has been in several things. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Cooties, and I'm also thinking of Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Allison, I think, has the quirky nature and the aesthetic that Velma Dinkley should have. I know we've had Linda Cardellini. I know that here lately in the cartoons we've had Kate Mucci. Those are fantastic choices as well, but I would love to see Allison Pill's take on the character. I think that she would be a fantastic Velma. I think that she could totally say Jinkies, and I would buy it. I would be like, whoa, that's Velma. For Norval Shaggy Rogers, I decided to go with Pete Davidson. Of course, my number one choice is always going to be Matthew Lillard. I think he was born to play the role, and I think that he does a phenomenal job. I think that him taking over the mantle for Casey Kasem was fantastic, but I'm trying to go with a brand new, fresh cast, and so I think Pete Davidson would be a good Shaggy. We all know that there are indications that Shaggy has as a character and the type of medication that he takes, and I think that Pete Davidson definitely encapsulates that. I think that Pete pulls off that lax, laid-back nature that a Shaggy needs to have to be a good Shaggy. I think that he would be fantastic for this. I know that he is a lot younger than most of the other choices, but I don't think that that really has to necessarily be a factor. The age of the Mystery Inc. gang is always kind of up in the air unless you're going with the traditional high school or a pup named Scooby-Doo iterations. So all of these guys being in their mid-20s, early 30s, I think wouldn't be that big of a deal. And I think Pete would make a fantastic Shaggy. The only person that I'm going to keep for my fan cast list that has been cast in an iteration of Scooby-Doo before is Frank Welker for the voice of Scooby-Doo, because it's the best. It's iconic. I don't think anybody else does it the way that Frank does. If I had to choose somebody else, or God forbid Frank Welker passes away one day, I would probably go with Brock Baker, just because I feel like he's a fantastic voice actor, and I think that he deserves a chance to get some on-screen time or some behind-the-screen time, I guess, as it is. But Frank is a phenomenal Scooby, and he's been the voice of Scooby for decades now, and I don't want to change that. So now we get to the meat of the movie. We get to the antagonist. And in this movie, the villains are Ben Ravencroft and the ghost of Sarah Ravencroft. Ben Ravencroft is a horror author who is a descendant of Sarah Ravencroft, who in the beginning of the film we're led to believe was a Wiccan who was trying to use natural remedies to cure people of diseases when they couldn't afford medicine. Later on, we find out that she was an actual bride of broomstick, have a spellbook witch, but that's not discovered until later on. So for these two roles, for Ben Ravencroft, I went with Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston has got to be one of the top actors of our generation right now. He's fantastic. He's suave. He's charismatic. Ladies love him. He's got that British voice that just make people go nuts. And I think that he would be a great Ben Ravencroft. I think that he has likable qualities and can charm people like Ben does at the beginning of the movie, especially Velma. And then later on when he turns sinister, I mean, hello, it's Loki. He's fantastic. He would be a superb on-screen Ben Ravencroft. And for Sarah Ravencroft, I went with Ava Green. Ava Green is already well known for playing characters that are of the supernatural or paranormal with her role in Penny Dreadful, and she's fantastic at it. She was also in the remake of Dark Shadows as the witch in that film. So she definitely already has the acting chops to play someone of this caliber, and I think that she would be a phenomenal witch's ghost in this movie. The thought of Tom Hiddleston's Ben Ravencroft summoning Ava Green's The Witch's Ghost would be, the thought of it just gives me chills. Other than that, notable characters in this film, we have the Hex Girls. And I have been dying for a live action iteration of the Hex Girls in this movie. And I have chosen these three specific actresses for their acting chops more so we can finally get a new, current, up-to-date, I'm a Hex Girl and I'm gonna put a spell on you. We have Thorn, Luna, and Dusk. For Thorn, I went with Selena Gomez, who is the front woman of this band and is actually a descendant of a witch herself. I think Selena Gomez would be a fantastic Thorn. Put those vampire teeth in, put on that goth dress, and I mean, it might as well be a live action Thorn. We also have Luna and Dusk, and I went with Dove Cameron and China Anne McClain, a trio of former Disney Channel stars. I think that these three would be fantastic on-screen goth girls. I think that they have the musical ability to actually be a band. I would love to hear their cover of I'm a Hex Girl and I'm gonna put a spell on you. I'm dying for it. Come on, Hollywood. I'm giving it to you. Just take it. And you know what? Here's my money while we're at it. Other than that, I have 6 more people that I'm going to try to go through quickly. We have some notable townspeople, mostly the mayor. And I went with Cary Elwes because Cary Elwes is a funny actor. And he was also the mayor in The Stranger Things. And he was kind of a corrupt mayor in that. And this is kind of a corrupt mayor, but on a much, much less sinister scale. He's just trying to help his town prosper. And I think Cary Elwes would do a very good job of that. For Mr. McKnight, the pharmacist, who actually is the fake witch's ghost that the town is putting on, I went with Matt Frewer, who is notable for being one of the antagonists in one of the latest seasons of Fear the Walking Dead, as well as the father of a character in the remake of Dawn of the Dead. And that to me is the best acting that I've ever seen Matt Frewer in. Mr. McKnight is the town pharmacist, but he's also the father of Selena Gomez's character Thorn, Sally McKnight, in the Hex Girls. I would love to see some on-screen chemistry between Matt and Selena. I think that would be great. Also, we have Jack, who is an owner of one of the local restaurants in the town. And I went with Wayne Knight for 2 reasons. 1, he's Newman, and he's a great actor. 2, he is known for being associated with different iterations of Scooby-Doo. He's voiced several of their villains in the past, and I would love to see him finally get to play a live-action character in a Scooby-Doo film. And then lastly, this is kind of more just for fun, but at the beginning of the movie, the Scooby Gang is thwarting a mystery at a museum, and there are 3 characters in there that I fan cast as well. There's Dr. Dean, who is, I guess, the museum curator, who is kind of, in charge of the different exhibits, and I chose Mark Hamill for him. Also because he's voiced some characters in some different iterations of Scooby-Doo before. And for the people who are in the Babylonian mummies, Dr. Dean's 2 associates who decided to put on the whole scare, I went with Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith, aka Jay and Silent Bob. I went with these 2 because they've also been voices in an iteration of a Scooby-Doo film before. And I think that it would just be kind of cool to get some big name people in this movie. Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith are an iconic duo. Mark Hamill is an iconic actor. And even though these are small roles, these kind of cameos, I think, are what fans look for when they go into a live action movie of a property that they've grown up loving. And so I decided to go with them. But there you go. There we have it. These are my fan cast choices for a live action Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your comments in the section below. Let me know if you agree or disagree. If you would like to see me do more of the Scooby-Doo films, because, I mean, I love the movies, Alien Invaders, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. I'll do some Scooby-Doo and Cyber Chase if you want. So let me know if you like it. And hey, next time you're in a creepy house by yourself and it looks like the paintings are looking at you, run. And until next time, keep that imagination alive.